Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the Z Street. Well, 3 consecutive days and the markets have been soaring higher every single day, claiming new record levels on an everyday basis again. So good days continuing for the Indian stock market investors. We've been seeing in today's trading action for the very first time, the Sensex has topped the 65,000 mark. The Nifty is well over 19,300 points as well. But the big question is, will this rally continue or not, and where exactly are opportunities emerging for you as investors? We'll get you expert voices on that, but first up, a quick check as to how the markets are doing as we speak right now. 19,314 currently for the Nifty, up by 126 points. So the markets are holding on to these gains. I last checked this with you live at around 12:30, 12:35, and you did say see the markets almost hovering around the same kind of levels. So 65,190 currently for the Sensex, 470 points higher in trade. So the markets are comfortably holding on. So bulls are not getting tired and you're not seeing any signs of exhaustion as we speak. Let's also look at how the Nifty Bank is doing, because that's the index that's really pushed the markets higher today. The Nifty Bank is higher by almost 1% in today's trading action. So you can definitely see 45,183 continuing. So the markets are holding on to those gains. Financial services, PSU Bank supporting the Nifty Bank overall. The mid and the small cap basket also supporting. So it's a broad-based buying action that you're looking at into the markets today. Look at the financial services right up 1% in trade, despite slight volatility that you've seen through the trading action. But very, very narrow band in which it has performed. PSU Banks at the day's high level, 3.6% uptake. Look at the kind of move that you've seen on this index. A very, very strong move coming in on that one. The private banks also inching higher now. Gains are coming in on the back of some of the top private banks really moving in trade today. Apart from this, you've been seeing the oil and gas space. That's been hovering over 2% higher in trade. We've also been seeing the metals shining bright. That's up by 1% odd. The realty space pulling up slightly, 2.6% odd in trade right now. Barring the pharma and the IT pack today, rest of the sectors are still looking good as we speak. Now, when we talk about the other top gainers as far as the Nifty index is concerned, in terms of the stocks, of course, you do have participations coming in from the oil and gas basket, the auto space, the cement basket. Grasim now up by 3.15%. BPCL is up in trade. Look at Reliance Industries, a very, very strong move coming in there. 2.5% uptick for this one. 26.12 currently for this one. So the supportive factor coming in from this heavyweight counter for the markets too. SBI, Ultratech Cement, ITC, those are the movers at this point in time. But time to welcome our guest on the show, Lovely Sharma joins in. Welcome, Lovely, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Well, 3 days running and we've been seeing these record levels on the markets. But, again, the big question is, how long will the rally sustain? Are you going to see higher levels? What are your, understanding of the charts really say?
Good afternoon, Sakshi, and thank you for having me. Yes, it has been a fantastic bull run. I mean, if we compare from the lows of March levels, at the same time, we are seeing markets almost gaining more than somewhat 10 double-digit returns. In the recent terms, as you have highlighted, that yes, there has been a lot of gaps market is seeing. The last 4 days we have seen continuously gap up openings, and then market is quite calm and composed and sustaining the higher levels.
Hmm.
Going forward, we do believe that market is going to continue remain bullish, but with a pinch of a salt, I would say that at such elevated levels,
Hmm.
it is bound to happen that there may be some short term correction. So on the
Okay.
upside, we do believe that Nifty is going to have its higher levels of 19,600, 19,650 being achieved. But at the same time, so one should be able to utilize the tips. So I believe that 19,200, 19,250 is a very good support for the market. It is definitely a buy on dips market, but you should be looking at lower levels to participate in this upside journey towards 19,600, and one can maintain their risk just below 19,200.
Got that. So which are the sectors that you're now turning bullish on? We've seen several sectors in a rotation fashion in the first half of the calendar year, really taking the lead and pushing the markets higher. What do you really expect for the second half of this calendar year now? Which are the sectors that are going to perform the most?
Well, certainly there was a kind of a rotation which we have seen now and then. But one thing is for sure that the defense space is somewhere you're going to see continuous upward move. Apart from that, if we talk about broader indices, I believe that energy and metals have joined the recent bull rally. They have joined a bit late, but I believe given the kind of momentum in Nifty, it will be dominated mostly by private banks, financial services. At the same time, we might see some participation, especially coming from energy, as you highlighted,
Mm-hmm.
especially from stocks such as Reliance, which has gained some good percentage in last few days. So I
Okay.
think energy, financial services, private banks, and in fact PSU banks as well will contribute largely to this bullish run. But at the same time, there will be some selective stocks that are going to participate from auto or pharma or realty space.
Got that. Since you talked about Reliance Industries, we've been seeing that the stock is finally showing some move. Some of these larger, participants of the markets stayed out of the market move in the first half of trading here. But now we are finally seeing some signs. Of course, the HDFC twins are now moving amid the news flow of amalgamation taking place. Reliance Industries is now finally moving. What are the kind of targets now you expect for the rest of the year for these kind of big counters or the big heavyweights?
Right. So yes, absolutely, I agree on that point, Sakshi. That there hasn't been much participation from the blue chip. Obviously, as we discussed in the previous show as well, there are some new leaders which are emerging in this bull market. So I still believe that this bull market may not see as wider participation, but it will be limited to certain select blue chips. As we have talked about Reliance, I think it has largely underperformed as compared to Nifty in last few months. But I believe that Reliance is one stock that can see much higher levels of 2760, I mean, it can retrace back to its recent highs of 2800 as well, because the kind of volume participation which we have seen. At the same time, this stock was underperforming. So I believe there is a kind of an unlocking in terms of its price as well. The second factor that further ignited this bullish run is obviously the HDFC twins, as you have mentioned. HDFC twins have recently sparked this bullish run, and I believe that both HDFC and HDFC Bank, I mean the twins, they have actually had a very good run now. And the levels are quite elevated. I mean, the bank at around 1722, 1725. So the risk reward may not be favorable. If anyone is considering to add these stocks, for a period of next 3 to 6 months, then absolutely I'll be able to recommend HDFC Twins as well. So HDFC Bank, we do believe that from present levels as well, it has an upside towards 1795, 1800. But I'll suggest to wait for a dip at around 1690, 1700. I think that would be the better price levels to enter the stock.
Okay, understood that. Let's also focus on some of the stocks that are buzzing in trade. You talked about defense theme, and we are seeing some of the stocks really buzzing very, very sharply. Mazagon Dock, for example, has hit 52-week high levels again, and the stock has been in an uptrend from last few weeks as well. And again, we've seen some move on that one. HAL, we've seen, of course, the news flows of split coming in, and the stock had been again in an upward trajectory. Which are your top picks from this space, from the defense basket?
Yes, definitely, Sakshi. I mean, this is the sector itself has seen a double-digit growth, and what we are looking at is now production in the defense space crossing 1 lakh crore mark, and the gain has been always in two digits since last 5 years, and the same has been reflected in the defense stocks. Obviously, the benefit of this particular expansion in the defense space would go to the players that are already in the industry and enjoy a certain kind of market cap, or we can say monopoly. So HAL has been, without a say, it would be favorite for anyone. HAL
Mm-hmm.
is something which anyone can look forward to probably take an exposure in a defense stock. At the same time, Masdok, as you have mentioned, is recently, the stock has given a kind of an upward breakout back in June, and the run has been quite phenomenal in last 4 or 5 weeks itself. So I believe that Masdok is also good stock if you want to take a position probably next 6 to 1 year, since the expansion in the space is still unfolding. and it's in a growth phase, not even we can say saturation or such thing. Only problem is there has to be certain government policy changes which needs to be kept in mind when you're investing in defense space, and obviously we'll have elections coming in as well. So only
Yeah.
these are the factors that is going to affect this space. But at the space, at the speed which this sector is unfolding itself, I think Mazdok is one stock, HL is another stock. At the same time, Cochin Shipyard is one stock which has been sideways, trading near its 589, 590 levels to 550 for last few weeks. The condition with Cochin Shipyard is that if this stock goes below 611, then one can look at this space stock as well for higher targets of around 710.
Okay, understood that. Another stock that I wanted to take your view was BSE. The shares rallied about 5% on the buyback proposal. Now, this will be the first time in 4 years that the exchange is actually opting for a buyback. There could be a board announcement possibly on July 6th. As for the filing is concerned, remember the move, if implemented, will gain significance, as this will be the first time in the last 4 years that BSE will be opting for a buyback. In 2019, BSE had declared a buyback of its fully paid up equity shares of 2 rupees each at 680 rupees per equity share through the tender offer route. Now, the details will be known going forward from here, but the stock is rallying very, very sharply at 666, 9.5% now. How do you view this news flow, and what would you advise investors to do now that there is this news flow of buyback coming in on BSE?
Well, definitely, this is a kind of a positive event for the stock, first of all, and that is being reflected in the price as well. I mean, the stock has enjoyed a super bullish run, Sakshi, in from 2020 bottoms. I mean, this was one of the stocks that actually gave a 10x kind of a return, just coming out of from 100 levels to go into four digit and touch that above 1,000 marks. There was an overdue correction which was there. I think stock has corrected good enough. It has completed its correction time wise and price wise both as well. It's coming out of a strong resistance which we have seen from all time high levels of 1060. The recent participation in volume from the lower levels of 420, obviously where it bottomed out, also suggests that the run is going to continue. On the upside, the higher target for the stock can be 723. But if we can extend and go beyond this number, I think this stock is poised to move to four digit again. I mean, towards its all time high of 1060 levels. But one has to make sure that the lower levels at 575, 570 should be protected. If those are protected and also 711 is taken out, then it becomes a very long term bet. But for the short term, I believe 720, 710 is on the cards.
All right. Many thanks, Lavesh, for being with us and discussing with us all
Thank you.
these details on the markets and specific ideas and trading strategies for all the investors. Looks like we are going to have another positive closing and another record closing high for the markets today, 455 points higher for the Sensex and 19,310 currently for the Nifty as well, 120 points higher in trade. We're just about 17 minutes away from the day's close, but looks like we are going to again headed for another record closing high on the markets. Do stay tuned on Business Today TV to catch all these updates going forward too.
All right, well, Secretary Consumer Affairs, Mr. Rohit Kumar Singh joins us for a quick chat. Thank you, sir, for joining us. So, first question to you: the prices of tomato are spiraling, sir, across India. You said that the situation is stable, and such a phenomena occurs usually with recent